Thank you so much. It's an incredible honor to be here. We had read about the prize, we had emails, but it's very different actually being here and being with all of you and realizing what an incredible honor this is. Madhav, who was supposed to be here, couldn't, and as I was leaving India, he said to me, do go and convey the thoughts and hopes of the many thousand people who work for Pratham. So that's a huge task. And since I've arrived yesterday, many people have told me what to say. And it's very hard to be away from home, many miles away, and then to be bearing messages from all kinds of people to you. But this morning I had a wonderful experience. I spent an hour with Mr. Kravis, and we had a great chat. And at the end of which he said, why didn't you just share some of the things that we spoke about this morning? So whatever I had prepared is out of the way. And what I thought I would do is just sort of share some of the things that we talked about. And he seemed to enjoy it, and I hope you will as well. One of the things he said is that people are really curious about how Pratham does what it does. So what is it that you actually do? What do you do with children? What do you do with parents? And what do you do with the school system? And I know you have very limited time because you're probably finished dessert. And there are various people in the audience who are going to tell me to stop with different gestures, but I can't see them. No, I can. So I'll just tell you a little bit. It's a long story, and we can't share everything tonight. But just little bits of glimpses to sort of encourage you to actually come and see it for yourself. Big problem in India is that we have schools now. Almost all villages have a school. We have enrollment numbers which are very high. Almost 95% of the children of school-going age are in school. We are a big country. We have 200 million children who are of the 6 to 14 age group, and 95% of them actually go to school now. So as a country, we now know that going to school is important. But what happens in school? We don't go to school just to go to school. We go to school to learn something. And the estimates or the evidence that is available shows us that about 50% of children who've reached 5th grade as yet cannot read fluently or even do simple addition or subtraction problems. So if India is to maintain its growth rate, if we want to really emerge, I hear the word emerging economies, if we want to be an emerged economy, I think we have to do a very quick and a very substantial and a very large-scale job in building the basic foundations of learning for our children so that much more can come above it. And that's a national challenge. That's what India needs. What Pratham has been doing for the last 15 years is attempting to really bring about this learning and do it on scale. Our philosophy is that we are a poor country, but we have many resources. And one of our main resources is people. So if we can come up with simple techniques that allow ordinary people to engage, then perhaps we can move much faster to solving this problem. So Mr. Kravis asked me, that's all very well, but so what do you actually do in a village? And here's what we do. So you go to the village. Usually don't go alone because it's fun to go with someone. And so let's say there are 2 of us and we go to a village. And this room is pretty much like a village in that we are one room, but we are divided into different tables. And many Indian villages are like that, which are, we have hamlets, and people are, live in different hamlets across the village. So we go into one hamlet and we make what we call a village report card or a hamlet report card. And the report card tells us, the report card wants to know, do children go to school? Can they do basic reading? And can they do simple arithmetic? And I have a little reading tool which has letters, words, few sentences, and a slightly longer 2nd grade level text. We bring this out and we ask people to read. If I brought my tool, I have enough of my friends here, we could have done it table by table. And we would have figured out what is the level of learning in this room. As as we begin to do it, people get very interested. And it's not just a survey, because everybody knows who goes to school and who doesn't. But can my child read, or can my child do arithmetic, becomes something that everybody wants to know. So let's say that in a hamlet or in a small village, we have 50 households. Very quickly, we find that the people, I will do some, and then I notice there are other people who are watching, so I'll ask them to help, and together we can come up with this report card that we share with the village. And so a typical result may be that there is about 100 children of school-going age, 90 of whom go to school, but only 45 who can actually read. So what do we do with this result? We begin to talk about it. And again, I don't know much about other countries other than India, but in India we typically begin to blame people. So first we blame the British, even though they left many years ago. Then we blame our politicians. Then we blame our religion, we blame our culture, we blame the village headman, we blame the teachers, you blame everybody. And finally, when you have no one left, you blame the child. And in all of this, you never blame yourself, because somehow you are not party to the problem. So we let this happen, and we've done it in enough villages to know that this takes about 45 minutes. You can hasten the process. But then you say, okay, all this is fine, but right now, this child can't read. And this is not HIV, this is not malaria. This is a fairly straightforward problem. And there are plenty of people in this village who can read and who can help. In the process of doing this, I know the people who've been interested. Usually younger people, usually people who have actually graduated from the school in the village and maybe are studying in high school or college now. And we ask them if they'd like to help. It's clear that we don't have money to give you, and we'd never have enough money to give everybody in India who wants to help someone. But what we can do is we can teach you some simple techniques. We can give you some simple materials that you can use with kids. And if this is your village and you care about your village, then you have to come forward to solve the problem. This is exactly what we do. We've done this in village after village, and in sort of the peak period of what we call the Read India campaign, which is exactly what it says, all of India should read, we found that in 350,000 villages, 1 or 2 people or more came forward. We didn't offer them money because we didn't have any. We had some, but we didn't have enough certainly to give everyone. But we found that our conviction over 15 years that India is ready to help itself is completely strengthened. And that's how we move to run campaigns to get this basic reading and arithmetic in place.